Joe and Hampton, lights dim, it's game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line. Stick lounge, stories unfold, real and raw. From hustlers to dreamers, breaking laws with a claw. Microphone warriors, capturing life's conflicts. Sitting across legends, tales flick like black picks. Drop bars, not mics, knowledge, it rains. From the streets to the beats in every vein. Stick Lounge Podcast.
All right, Stick Lounge Podcast, everybody, we are back. How's it going?
What up, what up, what up? Another episode to unload.
Another episode, yeah. And this is one that I really wanted to get in for Halloween, but as we were talking, that's your busy season. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
That is definitely your busy season. So we've got Ross Allison in the house, right?
Yep.
With a ghost, is that correct?
That is correct.
And we've got Chad Goodwin, correct?
Yes,
all right.
absolutely.
And you're a last minute get, and I'm pretty excited about that. So
Great.
Now, real quick. What I want to ask is a ghost. That is Advanced Ghost Hunting Organization. Ghost Hunters Organization of Seattle, Tacoma.
Of Seattle, Tacoma.
All right, sweet. So we get that out there. You go ahead and say it one more time so we get it out there for you.
So Ghosts, the Advanced Ghost Hunters of Seattle, Tacoma.
Of Seattle, Tacoma. Okay, perfect. And you go around and you do haunted tours. You do investigations. Tell us a little bit about what you do exactly.
Well, for over 30 years, I've been investigating the paranormal, lecturing all over the world. I've written 12 books on the subject matter. I've appeared on tons of television shows and even done an award-winning documentary with my good buddy Chad here. And just ghost tours as well, Spooked in Seattle. So if anybody likes to do ghost tours and wants to learn about Seattle's haunted history, definitely check us out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a ghost. We're the oldest ghost hunting group in the Pacific Northwest.
That's cool, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's not an easy thing to do, and especially we're talking a little bit nowadays. There's a lot of competition out there, right?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, when I started doing all this, this was not the thing to do.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
You didn't tell people you were a ghost hunter because most people think you're a whack job.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But now it's cool, you know. Now it's become so popular and it's so well accepted that people get excited when I tell them I'm a ghost hunter. Everybody's got their ghost stories.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTube channels. I mean, a couple that I've seen, even ones that my kids watch, of younger kids going into these haunted places and filming stuff. And I'm sure a lot of it's crap, you know.
That's
sure
a whole nother
staged.
show. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that there's a lot of it out there that they're just making up to get clicks and likes, and most of it's on YouTube. You know what I mean? But like you said, it's become a lot more popular.
It has.
A lot more acceptable. People talk about it more, you know, than they used to. So, how did you get started?
I blame my mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always mom's fault.
Yeah. I have a mother that loves ghost stories. So I just grew up
Nice.
listening to these stories and was very fascinated with them. I was just like, do people really experience this stuff?
Yeah.
So it was just that curiosity that kept me going. I was just checking out every, book I could find in a library about ghosts. And there wasn't that many back in those days,
Right,
you know?
right.
So it was just one of those things that just fascinated me. And when I was living in California, I got to work with some of the big names out there. Lloyd Auerbach and stuff like that. I go to a few of his, presentations and stuff. And I was just wanting to continue to do this. And it was actually in 2000 when I moved back to Washington, I wanted to continue it. But there was no ghost hunting out here. None whatsoever.
Okay.
So I ended up calling all my buddies and said, hey, let's do some ghost hunting in the cemetery down the street. And they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome, but let's hit the bars first.
Right.
So I'm lugging around a bunch of drunks in a cemetery. This is not good.
Oh, man. You're going to see all kinds of stuff, right?
Exactly. So I realized there's got to be other people that are very serious about this. So a friend of mine just said, why don't you start your own group? And so I did, and it just really took off from there.
That's awesome, man. How hard was it to get started? I mean,
it was pretty hard because I didn't know what to do.
Right.
How
do you start something?
Yeah, how do you start something like that? Get word out there that hey, if you're interested in ghosts, come check me out. And we'll go do some ghost hunting. And,
right.
And it was a slow start, but it took off like wildfire. Believe me, because I was lugging around probably a good over 100 members.
Oh, wow.
To meetings.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was that crazy at the time. It was. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations on that. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, definitely.
What currently, you guys just did a hunt. Where was the most recent one I saw? It was a few months ago, right? In Seattle. I saw something on Facebook. What was the most recent one?
I'm trying to think. Gosh.
Oh, we went out to, did you post one where we went out on the new filming?
No, that one.
No, I'm trying to remember. That's my fault. I should have remembered it. But I saw you guys did one a few months ago. How often are you doing them right now?
Right now, I just got back from my lecture tour, so you probably saw some pictures from my lecture tour.
Oh, maybe that's
you're
what it
probably
was.
thinking of.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm always, when I'm driving around to all these different colleges and stuff, I'm taking pictures of really cool haunted places, and so I just investigated some really cool campuses, and it's fun because what I do is I lecture on ghosts for an hour, and then I take the students on a ghost hunt of their campus. So
Oh, really?
I get to investigate a lot of these amazing historic places.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What's the coolest campus you did?
Oh, you want me to tell that story? Oh my
Let's
gosh.
go.
Let's run with it.
So, St. Louis University, I was invited to do my lecture and ghost hunt. And if you're not familiar with St. Louis University's paranormal history, that's where the true exorcist case took place.
Oh, all right.
So
Nice.
I was invited out there to do my, ghost hunt and lecture. Now, after the lecture, they take me on their campus and they take me to one of the buildings that the church had owned at the time of the exorcist case.
Okay.
Okay, so we're talking the late 1940s
Right,
when this
right.
happened.
Yeah.
And as they took me around through all the different floors, when we got to the fourth floor, I was surprised to find that it was completely abandoned and run down.
Really? No
And
renovations, no occupancy.
and it was huge up there. I could see old dorm rooms because that's where the nuns used to live when the church owned this building. There was old classrooms up there because that's where they used to teach Sunday school.
right.
So it was a big, massive space up there. And I was just like, gosh, why don't you guys utilize the space? This is a nice big campus. You think they would want to use this for something? And they said they've had too many problems up there that they've completely abandoned it. And
Really?
the same problems they're kind of referring to as paranormal problems.
Right.
So I'm going through all these different rooms with the students following me around with the basic equipment. And I walk into this one room. And right when I walked into the room, I heard this crunch underneath my feet.
Okay.
And I looked down and I realized I had stepped on a dead bird.
Okay.
Now, I've been in a lot of abandoned places.
Sure.
So animals get trapped, they die, so it was no big deal. I've seen this many times before.
Right.
So I just kind of kicked the bird over to the side so no one else would step on this bird.
Mm-hmm.
But when I shined my light through the rest of the room, I was surprised that it was just filled with dozens and dozens of dead birds.
Really?
Now, what made this odd is security had removed all the doors on the fourth floor
Okay.
because they've had too many problems with students constantly sneaking up there to scare each other.
Oh, okay.
So it just made it
Yeah, that
easier
makes
for
sense.
security to make the rounds if they, students weren't hiding behind doors and rooms and stuff like
Go
that.
up
So
there
they
and
just
screw
roomed
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I realized these birds had access to the whole fourth floor.
Hmm.
Why did they all choose to die in this one room?
That was very strange.
Well, come to find out, this is the room that the little boy had stayed in.
Really?
Now, the story is actually about a little boy, not
did
a
know
little
that.
girl named Linda Blair, just so you know.
Yeah.
It was, they gave him the name Robbie to protect his identity. And he was brought to this campus, to this building, because the church owned the building at the time. And he supposedly stayed in this room.
Really?
So if you're not familiar with the story is the church believed that they could not perform a full exorcism on the boy in the church because this could possibly kill him.
Right.
So what they did is they performed multiple exorcisms on this boy in various different secret locations. And the belief was they moved him to other secret locations because every time they performed an exorcism, they believed that some of the demons would escape. And instead of going back into the boy, they'd move him to another location because they believed it was more than one.
Right. Right.
So I'm standing in this room filled with all these dead birds and realizing, an exorcism had been performed in this room.
That's
Yeah.
scary shit, man.
It gets better. All right. So the students, are reluctant to come into the room, but I kind of coax them in. Let's see what's happening here. I'm curious. So they have all of the basic equipment, and we're standing in the room for less than 5 minutes when all of a sudden all the equipment starts to go off at the exact same time. We're talking the temperature starts to drop in the room, and we can all feel it getting colder and colder in the room.
Right.
EMF detectors going off like crazy, and we can't figure out what's causing these EMF readings.
Right.
The compass is spinning around and around and around and around, and it will not stop.
Oh, hell no.
And I'm like, oh my God, I got to document this. I got to prove to you guys that we're really experiencing this. And a picture's not going to prove that.
Right.
So luckily my camera shoots an infrared video. So I quickly switch my camera over to video. I start filming everything that's going on, documenting the equipment, documenting all of our experiences. Mm-hmm. And then things start to slow down a little bit. And I realize, okay, before it completely stops, I want to try for what we call EVP. Now, if you're not familiar with that, that's electronic voice phenomena.
You know EVP?
No.
No.
So that's right. Chad didn't either in the beginning. So
yeah, we're gonna get into Chad. We're gonna get into Chad.
I was thinking about evaporated milk at the time.
No, EVP does not stand for evaporated milk. No. That was the last podcast we talked about milk for 20 minutes.
So EVP is electronic voice phenomena. So that is voices that appear on our recorders that are not supposed to be there.
Right.
So if you watch us on ghost hunting shows, you'll see us go into haunted places. We'll ask questions into the air, usually leave about 15, 12 seconds of silence. And hopefully when you play back your recording, because you never hear it at the time of recording, only in playback.
Right.
So when you play it back, you will hear answers to your questions. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to see if I will get that kind of response. So I'm asking questions into the air. And I happen to ask the question, can you tell me whose room this is? About 15 seconds of silence. But then I hear crying to the left of me. And I turn and I realize that a couple of the female students have started to cry because they're so terrified being in this room.
Oh, man.
And I have to admit, I'm a little uncomfortable too. I don't have my normal ghost hunting team. This is just a bunch of college students following me around.
Or
I don't have
priest.
Chad. So I realize, okay, let's wrap it up. And hopefully I'll be able to come back and do my own little ghost hunt because I'm intrigued, at least, see what might be happening here. Well, I didn't get a chance to go back.
Okay.
But when I finally finished my lecture tour, I finally had a chance to go through all my videos that I had recorded at all these campuses. Mm-hmm. And I got to that video. And I got to the part where I'd ask, can you tell me whose room this is? And I'll edit this because I don't want to offend any of your listeners, but basically...
Look, I do that for Hamp all the time. Let it fly, man. Let it fly.
It basically says, fuck you, it's mine.
Really?
Yeah.
In clear?
Clear.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So when you get something like that, I mean... I believe in this kind of stuff, right? Like I've been watching the shows. I've had some experiences growing up when I was younger. Does that kind of stuff just terrify you? I mean, are you worried that maybe that thing's going to fall, like hitchhiker effect, right? That kind of stuff.
It's one of those things that you really don't know what you've got until you go back in the reviews. Or sometimes it happens so quickly, you're always second guessing yourself. Like, what was that? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really terrify me. It's exciting when you do get some of that evidence that you can't explain,
right?
As me and Chad will talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't really scare me. I can be alone in some of the darkest, scariest places you can imagine, and I could still do my job. But
have you ever had something follow you home, a hitchhiker effect kind of thing?
I haven't, because I find the best way to proceed in the paranormal is to be respectful. Okay. When you don't know what you're up against, why would you want to go in and piss it off?
Like this guy, man, he went in hard.
He did. I
saw it.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that.
I was like, dude, he's going off.
And I forewarned him. I did, but that was his personal choice.
Yeah, yeah. So what? I gotta turn to my co-host here. What do you think about this, Hamp? I know are you a believer at all?
No, but
not in the paranormal, not in a ghost, an apparition of a family member, nothing.
Have you ever had anything weird happen to you?
I mean, you grew up in New Orleans, man.
I know, New Orleans. Oh, wow. One of the most haunted cities.
I think the weirdest thing that ever happened to me, and I always say it was my mother that woke me up, but I was real tired one day and I was driving and I must have fell asleep and drifted over into another lane. And there was an 18-wheeler coming and it was just blowing his horn, and I woke up just in time to get back over and hit the ditch bank. And that was on the day that my mother died.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So that was, I thank my mom every day for that episode of my life right there,
wow.
Because I just think that she has something to do with that, as far as, I come from a family that my grandfather, was amazing. He had healing hands. Let's just
you've
put it
told
like
me that before.
I mean, I got some people back at home would tell you that they went to see my grandfather and he'll touch him, and they had a girl that used to walk constantly. She just leaves out of the house and just constantly walks and to anywhere.
She was like mentally disabled or something, right?
Yeah, and they went to my grandfather. My grandfather told them to bring them shoes that she walks in. They bought him the shoes. He prayed over them, whatever he had to do, took them back to her. She never left the house again until it was time for her to leave or some family member took her out of the house.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So,
So how can you have that?
I was going to say, yeah,
some
sort of belief. There's something.
It's just, I just, think it's a godly thing,
Well,
first.
we were when
accept that.
You were decorated downstairs for Halloween. Kat, she really went with the New Orleans Southern. You had voodoo dolls all over the place downstairs, and we were talking about it. And you said some people back in New Orleans where you could take those dolls and they could use them.
I know family back down home that you get in the boat and go in the swamp and bring these voodoo dolls to them, and they'll make something happen.
See, so you got to have a little bit of belief in there. There's got to be a little bit.
I'm not going to say I'm totally skeptical of it,
right.
But to me, to witness it myself,
right,
is a different story.
And you have not.
And I have not witnessed.
And that's what we're going to turn to this.
You haven't been paying attention.
All right, so Chad, you are, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen the Parascience on the Prime. I rented it, checked it out. You're a scientist, correct? Engineer.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, what's your background?
So I kind of do everything.
Okay.
I don't know everything, but my major thing is that I am in nanotechnology materials.
Oh wow,
energy storage. From
That's awesome.
Carbon materials.
Yeah.
And so I was been an audio engineer. I've been a mechanic. I've been all kinds of stuff. Right.
Okay.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Jack of all. There you go. I like that.
And,
I like that.
And so I ended up. I had a show here called Community Science Radio in Seattle, and we had interviewed Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was getting off work from my lab. I was doing some research with the USDA. And I get this call, and I hadn't heard from Ross for like 3 years.
Probably. Yeah.
We hadn't talked. And I answer the phone. I'm like, what's going on, Ross? And he's like, hey, because, okay, first let me back up for a moment here, right? Because I'm missing one major point. When we interviewed him, we did it twice for that show. Mm-hmm. And after I had left there, he would like show me all of his gear. He's like, hey, look at all this stuff. I got all these things. And I'm like looking at it.
Reeling him
like,
in.
Yeah,
he was like, I got
showing him the
and,
tech.
Yeah, it was like, free for the first time, and it was going to cost me next time.
He's getting you hooked, man. He's a good dealer.
Yeah, so he would get me thinking, and then I would get back to him, and I'm like, okay, look, here's the deal. What if we did this, this, and this, and it was listening in this language, multilingual, and this, and all these cameras and whatever and stuff? I don't know. I had all kinds of stuff. And
right.
Ross was like, yes, let's do that. Let's talk about that. And then I'd like disappeared.
And you did call him out
Totally
on the show. I
ghosted
saw
me,
that.
I
Yeah,
tell ya.
he ghosted you.
And then
ironic.
And then we did a show for Halloween, and we were like, we got to talk to some creepy people. And I was like, Ross,
whoa, hey man, we're all friends here.
Ross does creepy things. So we went back and interviewed him, and then he talked to me about some more stuff, and I did it again. I was like, oh man, what if we took the Raspberry Pi? What if we did all these things? And
right.
boom, disappeared. And then 3 years had passed after that because the show had ended, and I went on with my
At this
career.
point, you're like, this son of a bitch.
I gave up on him.
Yeah. And so
just a one night stand. That's all.
It happens. It happens.
and then I get that phone call. So I answer the phone, and I'm like, Ross, what's going on? I haven't heard you for a while. And he was like, hey, if you were going to sense touch from a ghost, how would you do it? And I don't know. I threw off some ideas off the top of my head. I was like, how about this, this, or this? And he's like, well, I have an opportunity to do this show, and I'd like to have a scientist on there. Would you consider doing it? And I was like, oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Sure. And he's like, but there's one kick. The subjects are naked. And I was like, what?
And that's what I was like.
Come in this room. Come touch me.
Touch, one of the 5 senses we can't live without. It helps guide us through our lives. Touch gives us warmth and comfort, as well as pain and suffering. But what about those stories of people getting touched by ghosts and spirits? People getting scratched and molested by something unseen? How is this happening? Is it real or fabricated? And if it is real,
Are you trying to touch me?
what could it mean?
Even though science has yet been able to prove or disprove these strange encounters, through the years of patterns and consistency, shows us the phenomenon is true.
I think you're on the right path. I think you're at kind of a precipice where you can clearly show that humans have an experience that has an objective piece to it, which at the very least should get other scientists interested in looking at that question.
My whole research process is trying to bring in a more scientific basis. People need to understand that this is not just your bells and whistles that you see on ghost hunting shows. This is real science.
I'm going to really do my best to try to find information and data that suggests that this is a real thing that we're looking for.
It was here in D Block that changed everything for me and for Nick.
I'm ready for it to be over. Hey, you in the corner here touches people. You around here? My neck. Really? Scratch me? Oh, I'm gonna. At the exact time that I was scratched, looking at the larger data set, you can see anomalies in the PIR and ultrasonic sensors. We can use that data to then create an animation showing what happened in approximate real time. So it looks like whatever it was moved toward me and then away very quickly.
When dealing with the paranormal, you have to be prepared for just about anything when the spirits are truly the ones in charge. The question is, how does the body perceive these experiences? What are the cause and effects of when this happens? And most of all, how do you prove these intimate encounters? For the first time in history, our journey into this untapped realm has only just begun.
And that's what I was like. I was like, parascience, the naked experiments. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So this is where I take my clothes off right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all. You didn't know you volunteered for this, did you?
At least give me some cookies.
Be the
and
first
milk.
naked podcast.
Yeah. And so from a scientific standpoint, I'm a scientist. I've been building a following online. I've been working on stuff. And when I first thought about it, it was like, there's scientists haven't really got too deep into this. Like,
Right.
Not that they're not working on it, but the sensing, the thinking about the experiment, the approach, scientific approach, all the method and everything.
Yeah.
Hadn't really been applied that I had seen on any show.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but all the equipment you use is not dedicated to paranormal, right?
No,
like
it's
an EMF
not.
detector isn't. I mean, the only thing that I can think of, and I have very limited information on this kind of stuff, is like somebody developed the God helmet, which is supposed to induce things. I think that was developed with the intent of being used for exactly what it's used for.
Right.
But that's like binaural beats and flashes of light and all kinds of weird stuff, which could trigger a lot of
Right. It was,
psychosis potentially.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But most of the equipment being used is just standard equipment that's out there, right?
And that's the challenge when it comes to ghost hunting is there is no device out there that's going to tell you have a ghost in your home.
Right.
Since we don't know what a ghost is or what it's really made of, you can't really develop a tool like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as paranormal investigators, the best we can do is just try to read the environment and understand the environment and know when there's changes in the environment we can't explain.
Right.
Why is there this here? Why are we getting this kind of reading?
Why is it getting colder? Why
Exactly,
is,
when it shouldn't be. You know, things like that. And you start the
said,
debunking
EVPs.
process and all that stuff. So, yeah, there's no such thing as a ghost meter. As much as people like to say, "Hey, I've got one that says ghost meter on it," it doesn't really exist. But I downloaded the app.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the one that always gets me. So at this point, you're looking at it from a scientific point of view. You're looking at how can I design something that's going to measure these specific parameters? Do you believe in the paranormal?
Well, to back just slightly from that.
Yeah.
As I was saying, to be a scientist and then to agree to go into this means that I feel like I have to do everything I can to try to find and validate data and information that suggests that basically the way we set it up was that somebody's empirical experience or evidence turns into something that in that time frame we can also say sensed something to validate what they were feeling.
Right.
So I was like, oh man, how am I going to do this? Like.
Yeah.
And then, second of all, going into this, I told some of my other scientist friends, and they're like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Like, are you going to go? Are you going to?"
Could something like this be career suicide?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it wouldn't be that, but I mean, it hasn't come up, hasn't been a problem.
okay.
So,
That's
but
good.
but that was my feelings in the beginning. So,
Right.
I got back a hold of Ross, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." And then Ross was like, "Well, I want to."
One of the things that we have to point out is when we decided to do this as a team, we wanted to protect each other's credibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to do that, we wanted to make sure we were doing it right, and we had to be very transparent in our approach.
Right.
Yes.
We have to make everything available to anybody who asks questions.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I find that's great between me and Chad is because we got each other's backs.
That's great.
I'm not using him to just, hey, let's, put together a really cool, ghost trap or something like that.
Sure.
I feel that he has so much value to us in the ghost community because he's open-minded enough and willing to put himself out there, whether, his colleagues will make fun of him or not.
Right.
To at least give it a chance.
And that's what it takes, man. You got to color outside of the line sometimes, right?
Yeah.
That's how things are discovered. That's how inventions are made.
And being naked, he sure did put himself out there. Okay? You can't get any more put out there than that. Okay, so he's got your back for sure.
That is true. That is very true.
One thing we should touch base on, though, which is really important, is because a lot of people ask us, why nudity? And again, it's being transparent in our approach. If you're trying to be scientific in your approach, you have to understand what's happening to the physical body.
Right.
Especially when it comes to touch. We're the first to actually take on that challenge.
Yeah.
No one's ever tried to try and improve touch.
Right.
So, you have to see what's happening to the skin. Is there pressure? Is there temperature variances? So, and it just made sense to both of us to have nude subjects.
Well, I like what you said in the documentary too, because you kind of addressed it, and you said, when you're naked, you're vulnerable, right? And your senses are heightened. And that makes sense to me. You're really going to be paying attention to anything that's coming close to you or touching you. Everything is heightened, and so it made sense. It did make sense.
Yeah, it puts you in that fight or flight.
Yeah,
so
definitely does.
like everything that's happening around you all of a sudden becomes important to you.
Magnified. And very
you're like,
important.
I'm really vulnerable here, just like sitting in this stupid spot.
Right.
Yeah, but also when we think about applying it this way, we have been the main censor of paranormal for all of time, basically, right?
Right.
And so if we don't, there's like Russ said, there's no ghost sensor out there.
Right.
So you have to put something there that is the sensor that we know is able to feel or pick up or have some inkling that something's going on in the space to try to find it from there. And then once we get enough data and we start understanding how different things manifest, because it doesn't seem to be any one thing from the experiences I've had.
Right.
Once we can start to correlate data and you get trends with enough information, then we can say, okay, now maybe we can start to think about making something that can sit into a space and see what's going on and then trust the data. But, that takes a lot of information and numbers to get there.
For sure. Well, like you said, I mean, till what you guys designed and worked with, prior to that, like you said, the biggest sensors has been us, right? A person, because you can't measure when you feel like someone's watching you. Right.
Right.
And that's a lot
the
of
same
things
thing with
that people
touch.
did. Yeah.
Touch is such a personal thing.
Right.
How do you measure that or even validate somebody's personal experience?
Right. So I watched the video, right? You guys started out at Kook's. Is it Kook's Tavern?
Yes.
Okay. And that's where the initial was done before you designed the machine that you guys took to the penitentiary, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys are in Kook's Tavern. You're doing the experiment, and you say, you know what? We need a third.
Yep.
Yeah. And you weren't even supposed to jump in there. You just said, you know what? If we're going to do this, we need a third. I'm going in.
Yeah. And there was a pretty big reason behind that because I was watching other people's experience and they seemed to be similar in what was happening. And that's pretty fascinating that people have similar experiences because we're not close, as you saw, to where the experiments are actually happening. We're quite a ways away. And the people that were the subjects were not in the space. They were completely downstairs or out of the building and being brought from in down the road.
Right.
And to see people have the similar experiences, the only way that you can start any kind of a trend with data is to have three 3 data points that line up. And then from there, it's like, how far off can it go? Okay. And so I wanted to be that third data point. And I also wanted to understand what it is I'm looking for.
So it was curiosity on 2 sides. It was 1, we need the data, and 2, you wanted to see exactly what these people were experiencing.
Yeah, because I wanted to, you know, when they're saying, I feel this happening on my body or something, I want to put myself in that situation and try to understand what it is.
Hamp, what's the craziest thing you ever done naked? Keep it PG-13.
Jump in the pool.
Yeah, I mean, about the same. Skinny dipping, I think, is about the craziest thing I've ever done naked.
That's it.
So you were just all in. You were like, you know what? I'm stripping in. I'm going in, or stripping down, going in. And what'd you experience, man? I mean, so at this point, have you ever had a paranormal experience before?
I had a similar thing where I think my grandfather has helped me a couple of times in some pretty tight spots.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that, I mean, when we went in, I wouldn't say I was like, all right, I'm into ghost hunting. Because I had also watched all the shows before we went and started doing this to see what other people were doing. Then I was like, oh my God, I hope this isn't what we're doing. You know, like, that would just like be too much for me.
Sure.
So when we got there, you know, the really great thing is I had a chance to really step back and watch Ross and team do what they do. And
they're coming at it from a very professional approach.
Yeah, I was actually very impressed with it because, you know, I'll come out and do this, and then this is like a good thing, and you're doing the right deal because, you know, there's a lot to keeping all of your data straight, logging everything that's happened, knowing what's going on, knowing where people are, because if people are making noise, we've been able to debunk some things where someone kept seeing something in a certain spot and people are causing it unknowingly, or, you know, there's a lot of stuff to take in consideration. And so watching Ross go through
environmental around you can kind of screw the whole thing off.
It could totally screw it up.
Yeah.
Even like a car driving by in a shadow and a thing, someone sees it, they're like, oh my God, it's right there. You know?
Right.
Anyway, so I was really impressed with what they were doing and how they worked, and also had a chance to see Spectre 1. Go ahead and say the acronym. I never get it.
Special Paranormal Energy Computer Tracking Research Equipment.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a mouthful.
I have yet to be able to say it right.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so anyway, he showed me what he's doing and what was going on. And
you have to understand, no one in this field was doing what I was doing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
This was totally something unique. And it was great to have Chad's perspective as what I was doing.
Yeah, he was logging. He was really had sensors and logging things.
Yeah, actually taking data from the
experience.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow, this is great. And so after we had that, and I had some experiences and kind of felt what other people were feeling in the space, and we had some other things that happened, like there was a lady that was downstairs, and Claire was the lady of the night upstairs, right? That
we were doing an old brothel.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
There was a lady downstairs say hi to Claire for me, and we heard, and Ross and I both like looked at each other. What the heck was that? And then for the rest of the time, we were knocking on things, and nothing made that same tone. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, "This is something."
So
too,
it already kicked off.
Yeah, we had other moments, even together as a group. We had a moment where everything like darkened down. I was like, "Okay, well, there's something going on."
Mm-hmm.
And so I went home after that experience and decided to take what Ross had already been doing, since he'd already had success with what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I built a wireless system that was logging everything that we could put all the way around the subject. And I added a couple of things, and we rolled with that.
So what was because you kind of jumped past, what was that first experience like when you sat down? Because you didn't have the machine at the Kook, right? That went to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
So what was that first experience?
We had my version of
your
Spectre.
version of it, right? Yeah, your version. But then you rebuilt it. But when you were just using his version in this first go here in Washington at Kook's Tavern, what was that experience like for you?
It was really interesting because it made it very clear the clothes mattered, having that off, because you can just feel stuff everywhere on your skin, and some of it was like, okay, maybe there was a breeze coming through and I could actually discern that.
Because you got hair, right?
Yeah. But then there's other things that like tingle or go across, or, there's things that wasn't wind, or that wasn't a temperature change, that was because, it's night or whatever.
So would you definitively say that in that first experience that something was touching you?
It was definitely lining up with other people's experiences. So that was telling me that there was something going on.
That's wild, man. That freaked you out?
It was fun. The first one, it wasn't as bad as the prison, but that one.
Oh, we're going to get there too.
that one made me, think a little more. Yeah. And, Ross showed me some other spaces, and, he was saying things and things were happening around in the space. And I was
the door slammed as you guys were trying to pack up and get out of there. I saw that. Yeah,
that was pretty wild. So
enough happened that you were like,
I'm on board.
I'm in.
Let's go.
We're going to continue this.
Yeah, let's go on to the prison.
Yeah.
Let's go on. It was like, we passed this gate. Let's go to the next one.
So
one
of
us.
So was the prison always the goal, or was it a place that just kind of afforded itself for the experiment? Because you guys went all the way to Tennessee, is that right?
Yeah. It was one of those things that at that point, as we were advancing the research and Chad was helping the team, other opportunities started to come up, and we were actually asked to put together a pilot, or I should say a sizzle at that time, because we had somebody that really felt that they could sell the show.
Right.
They saw how unique it is, everything we were doing, from the technology, the science, and the subject matter. This was a very unique show, and so they felt it had potential. So at that time, we were like, okay, let's go with something big at the end for the end of this. And so we were sent out to Tennessee to film the last part, and it was the best decision we ever made because
it was wild.
It was an amazing.
And you'd been there before.
I had,
and you had not.
I had not.
So what do you think? You're going to this maximum security penitentiary that's been abandoned for however long? Are you like, oh boy?
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, we were like diving straight into the deep end here.
You go tour a maximum penitentiary that's been abandoned?
No.
This is one of the worst of the worst.
Yeah. I watch that kind of stuff, and I think that I want to do it, right? But if it actually the opportunity came, I might be like, no, I don't think I'm going in there.
Are you sure? We're looking for more subjects.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. It sounds fun.
Go around and get naked.
It scares me.
Ross is always
really
looking
does.
for naked people.
So you guys get to the penitentiary. What's the backstory there? I know you kind of go through it in the documentary, but it's not a great place.
No, it's one of the worst prisons. It's where any prisoners they couldn't control, that they just wanted to just toss away and not have to deal with them. They sent them to that prison. The worst of the worst.
Right.
Worse than Alcatraz?
Yeah. What's that?
Worse than Alcatraz?
Worse than Alcatraz, yes.
Yeah.
Especially in D Block.
And you've been to Alcatraz too, right?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. I was one of the first teams to investigate Alcatraz.
And this place is way worse.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. So much worse. And so we had the opportunity to have the place for the full weekend.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And what was really interesting is when we got there, the night we got there, there had just been a really big electrical storm. So we kind of wonder if that had something to do with boosting some of the energy that we
might hide
experienced
things.
that weekend.
Right. Because if it's all energy based, right? Which is kind of what I think it is, right? Because we're all made up of energy. So yeah, that would make sense. So you have a team of some guys and ladies, if I remember correctly, that have been there before with you. Yeah, and so they signed up again.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Nick
they went for round 2.
Yeah. So as I'm always doing experiments. Whether I can get Chad involved or not, because he's got a busy schedule and he's traveling himself. So I always take any opportunity I can to run some of these ideas that I have, some of these experiments. And so I had actually been in Tennessee, and friends of mine, Michael and Nick, his brother. They invited me to say, hey, let's go do, Brushy Mountain Prison. And I'm like, sure, And Michael was actually one of my first subjects. He was willing to do these experiments, and he kind of talked to his brother into doing it. So we had the prison to ourselves. So they were like, should we do some experiments? And I'm like, sure, let's see what happens. And we had set up Nick in D Block. And as you see in the documentary, he had a terrifying experience. He ran out of there.
He did. So
stark naked, screaming for me and his brother.
Well, and well, the way you set him up, dude, when I was watching it, I was like, oh no. Because he, correct me if I'm wrong, but he puts him in there and says, well, you know, when a young man comes into the prison, he's going to be somebody's bitch right out of the gate. He goes, and the way that they would tell if you were somebody's bitch is they would put on red lipstick. So he has this guy put on red lipstick and stand in the cell block naked in the dark. And some shit starts going down, man.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting over the bitch.
Yes, pretty much.
And then he breaks his flashlight, so we can't see anything.
Yeah. So he's freaking out, and he said he saw this dark mass coming at him. And unfortunately, I was only working with one camera. This was not, a professional setup like I would have liked.
Sure.
I was just testing out some
Just
experiments.
the one that was on him at the time.
Just the one that was on him. So I didn't get to see his viewpoint.
Right.
So
Well, he was terrified.
He
I
was
can see-
terrified.
I
He
can
was
see that.
screaming.
Yeah.
And so now we have this opportunity to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely wanted to bring him back. I want to see it, if this will happen again. Could he be a trigger?
Mm-hmm.
He's not going back.
No.
He went back.
He went back.
He did.
Oh, it's crazy.
He was scared as hell, though. I mean, they did an interview before you guys went in there, and he was like, man, he's like, I don't know why I'm here right now.
Yeah, I don't want to be back.
So was he the trigger?
The second time we didn't get it as much as we were hoping for. With him, we had a lot of other interesting things happen, but it was just nice to have his perspective. But he did have the experience where he was one of those that got scratched, which was really interesting because we had documented from the very beginning to the end. And Chad's here to validate. We look our subjects over, right before the experiment, right before they sit down for the experiment, and right after.
No matter how uncomfortable it might be.
Right. Well, it made me think of, I used to wrestle in high school, right? And before every wrestling match, they do exactly what you guys did. They check your whole body. They're looking for ringworm and stuff because they don't want you to spread it to other wrestlers. But
Ringworm.
yeah,
Long time.
that's what they do, right? But that's what it made me think of is you guys checked out the entire body to make sure there was nothing there.
Yeah, we had standard questions. Are you experiencing any pain, any burning, any itching, stuff like that? Just to make sure that, if anything happens during the experiment, we can validate the changes.
Right.
And sure enough, right after the experiments, we looked him over and he had that bloody scratch on him.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also got scratched in there.
I sure did.
Yeah. Yours didn't look quite as deep from the pictures, but I mean, what was that like?
So before I did that,
Yeah.
The night before we were doing some recording in D Block, which is where they put basically the guards didn't go in, they just drug out bodies.
Okay.
Put
Wow.
food in the
Nice.
door and stuff like that. And so we were doing experiments in there first, and that's the first set that are in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody had left, and I was sitting in space, and it was super dark. We didn't even have the cameras on yet. And Ross always says, "Don't antagonize a ghost. Don't be mean to them. Don't do this. This is a really bad idea."
Dude,
and just
you went hard. You went hard in the paint. I saw it.
I don't do it, right? So I sat there in the dark.
I didn't know this either.
Oh, you
this
didn't?
was something he did on his own.
And so I sat there in the dark, and I was just filling the space again, trying to figure out what is it that I'm looking for, what people might hear, because baselines are very important in science. So run all the sensors and let them run between experiments, before experiments, after experiments, and see if there's anything that's cyclical that might happen with the data that we have to subtract or something like this, right? Looking for stuff like that. So I was there, and I started saying, "I'm going to find you. I'm gonna fucking find you. I'm gonna find all of you, and we're gonna find you. We're gonna call you out, right?
People.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I've learned never piss off Chad.
And there was this moment that happened where you cut yourself, and you're like, oh, your body just, and that happened. Boom! I had that thing, and I was like, oh man, and I instantly started to feel like my blood pressure had rise. I didn't feel good. I didn't fit my body anymore.
You're getting a full physical reaction.
Yeah, there was something wrong. And I had kind of mentioned it to Ross and then to Shanna, because she was in there. She does Reiki and healing, energy.
She
work.
had the aura machine, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, something happened in there, and I'm not doing so good. She's like, come on, we got stuff to do. And we got back to the house. She's like, go to sleep. We've been out at this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that night we had another electrical storm. And I was having
piling it on.
Oh, yeah. And,
More energy.
on top of not feeling good. And I had murder dreams.
Oh, really?
I had one where I was in this space, and it was very, very public space, and I was scanning over, and somebody like looked back at me, and I looked at them, and I just shot them.
So that's like what Amityville kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Where...
it was like, and it was freaking me out. I was waking up, freaking out, and by the time of the morning came, I walked out for the second day of filming, and I was like, Shannon was like, "Oh man, your aura's off." I'm like, "I am not doing good."
You're like, I killed like 6 people last night.
This is like so done with this right now. And so she's like, "Well, let's get to the prison. We got some things to do, like, whatever." So,
question, real quick, not to interrupt. I'm sorry. Did you ever question if any of those dreams were like? I guess there'd be no way to find out if they were residual dreams from like prisoners that were there or something like that.
Unless we looked into everybody that had been put into D block.
I just popped.
Probably most of them
would
have been in there.
That's true. Okay, sorry. Continue.
So anyway, we get back there, and as we come around the corner and I see the prison, it was like the screws were just tightened on me even more. I just like, oh my God, I feel so much worse than like. And so we did some like B-roll stuff, and then I was like, Shanna, that's it. Whatever it is you do, you got to do it. And so she threw me on it. We got up on a table, and she was, and there was a moment.
Do you believe in that kind of stuff too, like Reiki and stuff, or you just like anything's gonna help?
I was like, something's got to help me right now because this is bad. And there was a moment where she was kind of toward the end of it, and it just like snapped and it went away, and I was like, oh my God. And she was like, that was it.
Really?
I was like, oh, wow, that was like so good,
Interesting.
And she said that what she saw was a prisoner that thought maybe they would get out of there, but then we came back and she had released it off. So
like it attached itself to you.
Yeah. Wow. And I was like, what happens if that happens to you and someone like you's not there? And she's like, it's just going to stay there.
That's why I said I'm scared to go do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to Joe?
Like I said, don't do what Chad did.
Don't piss him off.
Don't piss him off. Don't piss him off, yeah.
So that's what led into me doing the experiments the way I had did them. But even the very first one where I got to scratch was not a recorded, like an experiment. That was a pause where we were trying to work on some. Shanna was working on her Aura computer, and she was
just testing the equipment, getting everything ready for the experiments. So
right.
That's why he wasn't even naked. He was
I was just in my clothes. Yeah. She's like, okay, well, put your hand on there. And I put my hand on there. And then I was like, well, this worked last night. Like, oh my God, Shanna will save me. So she was like, like breathe, do things. And I started talking, and she was like, oh, there's like these black spots. Because she was able to show that when people are having experiences, there's these in the software, there's these black spots that show up in it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. And we're going to try to do some more physiological sensing to figure out how to correlate that stuff to something that someone's experiencing too.
Yeah, I don't understand how those work, but I've seen them before. The cameras that take a picture of your aura. I'm from Arizona originally, and Sedona is a popular place for that kind of stuff. And we took a family vacation up there one year, and we all got our pictures taken, and everybody has like a different color, and I never understood how they're getting that information or how it works. But yeah, I did see what you guys were talking about when they would feel something, or it would get colder, it would get dark around them, which is interesting.
Yeah, and she was doing baselines with people to see what it was out of that space and the stress, and then we did the experiments. But anyway, I had my hand there, and I just started talking trash. And
yeah, you did.
Everything was kind of going. She's like, oh, there's these black things. And so I kept going, and then there was that sound, and like that's what really caught my attention was that sound. I like moved away from the sound, and I didn't feel anything because interestingly enough, what would be the pressure? There's no mass there to push on it, and really that's what the body feels first when you get hurt. It's the pressure, and then the pain sensation comes after. And so I heard the sound, I didn't feel anything, and then she came over and looked, and then I started to feel a little bit of pain that was delayed. And so that was interesting to me. I was like,
was it like a regular pain? Was it like a burning?
It was a little more like a burning, almost like a minor paper cut type of feel. Off and on, but it wasn't like consistent either. That was weird.
Right.
And so at that point, since my experiment wasn't a legit experiment based on how we apply them, everything in the scientific method, I decided I was going to do another one.
You didn't learn enough. You didn't learn from the first time.
Triple down,
please. Can I have some more, please?
Yes, plate it up.
So crazy.
And so we did that experiment, but then I didn't have the same experience, right? Okay. But what you can hear, there's a moment, and I've played it over a few times where I'm talking, and it's I was having like extreme pressure on me in that one, and you can. It was weird because I watch it and I can hear my voice actually, like my word being pressed from me. It's like like it's.
There's actually something like pressing the wind out of you. Right?
Yeah, it was really weird. And we went through that, and there was a couple other experiences, and finally I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I'm done.
That's crazy, man. So at this point, you've been potentially squeezed or crushed by something. You've been scratched by something. I mean, you gotta be believing at this point, right?
Yeah.
How do you walk away from? I can't even imagine. I can't imagine.
Well, it was something. It really didn't hit me until, because there was so much going on that we had to do, and we were working late, and just got to get through it. I used to work in radio, so there's those events where you just got to get through them, right?
Right.
And so this was one of those things on the filming, and it was like on the airplane ride home before we landed, I started like thinking about what I had just gone through and experienced, and when we landed, I pulled Ross off to the side. I'm like, man, I'm not okay. Like,
No,
that shit was
it.
crazy.
Yeah,
we just went through.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would be the same way, I think.
And I got home and I was laying in my place, and every creak in the building, I was like, what's that?
I think you should let him take you on a.
I think you should let him take you. If you were sitting there right now and we're talking, and you felt scratches on the back of your neck,
I figured there's a bug crawling on my neck.
You're full of shit. I want to see your big ass run out of somewhere screaming. That's what I want to see.
You're the ghost person, so I think you should experience what they're doing.
I'll go if you go.
I'll go. I'll sit outside the car.
So you don't believe, but you won't go in. Yeah, no. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bull.
Okay, let's go.
All right. All right. If you're in, I'm in. You let us know when your next one is. I'm going to need an old priest and a young priest.
All right, let's set that up.
And a nun.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
So at this point, you've been through it. I mean, you're like, I'm not okay with this. Are you having residual effects? I mean, other than just the mental capacity of trying to hold that in your head, like, I've seen this, I've felt this, I've experienced this. Is it all around me all the time? Like, how are you dealing with that? This guy loves it, so he lives for it. So
we've been out on some other stuff since then, and
so you've
and
continued
I'm okay.
to do this. Since then.
I'm okay.
No bumps in your life that you can say, you know what, I'm walking away from this completely.
No, yeah, not yet.
Okay. So why continue? Curiosity, science?
Yeah, we met some really good people along the way. We met Lloyd Auerbach and talked with him, and that was very interesting to have him with us, because we took him out on a hunt with us that's not in the documentary, but it was more for me to show him the method, what we're doing, how we go about it, because
and we wanted to prove to him this is what we're doing. We wanted an ally to show that we're not making this up. This is not just fake data just to get a television show or anything.
Sure.
We wanted to put it out there and just to see what their perspective was too.
Okay. Yeah, because peer review, that's a big
peer
thing.
Review. Yeah,
so
that makes sense. Yeah.
And he's the best peer we could ask to review our work.
Right.
And took him out, and I was a little bit nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to be okay with what we're doing? Because I don't know what the methods he's been using. He's been in this since the 70s.
Yeah.
Remote viewing training.
Back when they were teaching parapsychology in colleges.
Right.
Yeah. And so to have him say it was good. And then also I was really lucky to be able to contact and talk with Barry Taft, who did the Entity case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so I got some perspective from him too.
You guys have dealt with some big, I mean, as far as like cases and hauntings and stuff go, you guys have talked to some big names.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was what really brought it into me, because basically they said, look, we don't exactly know, but we'd also need fresh eyes and thought on this as well at the same time. And we love that data is being collected, because more of that is needed.
And that was one of the things that Lloyd had said. It's like, this is all new data for us.
Right.
No one's ever been willing to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and I saw the data points. It's a lot of data. It's a ton of data. I got to be honest, I don't understand it all, but I can see what you guys are putting up there, and it is a lot of data. So is that machine still the only one? Is that something that's taking off? Is it something that other people want to utilize?
Well, we are filming the second one.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Nice.
So
congratulations. Hant, are you in it? Did you get naked this time?
I just looked at him. I thought, no.
You're filming the second one. That's great.
Yes, we are. We're trying to finish up the second one.
Okay.
So we got at least a couple more shoots that we want to do.
Yeah.
Now, is this going to be like a multiple locations thing?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, because we have to collect
Yeah.
from different locations.
Any
and try to get
spoilers? You want
things
to tell
up.
us where you're going to be?
Well,
don't wanna wait
not
till it comes
necessarily
out.
where we're going to be because we don't know how the story is going to unfold.
Okay.
You know, when in the editing process, you know this
Oh,
even
yeah.
with audio.
Sure.
It's one of the things is when you watch a lot of these television shows, they spend maybe a weekend in a haunted place, and now they're pressured to put something together.
Right.
You know, to fill in, let's say, an hour. Most ghost hunting shows are about an hour. And so, and I've been on all these shows. I know what happens in
Yeah,
the background,
right.
you know? So they are under pressure to produce a good show. You always
Yeah.
want to be better than the last one, you know?
Right.
So you're always trying to up yourself. And that puts the cast under pressure to produce something, whether it's real or not.
Yeah. Maybe react a little bit differently than they might. Be a little bit more
Exactly.
scared or whatever. Yeah.
So with Parasense, we want to do it right. You know, if
That's
we
great,
don't
man.
get anything on a shoot, we don't get anything.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
we're not going to put ourselves under the pressure like, oh, we have to make something of this. There's got to be something there. What can we do with this information that we've already recorded?
Right.
You know, and a lot of times it's nothing. You know, unfortunately, with ghost hunting, right place, right time. So for us, it is a longer process for us to put something together, whether it's due to scheduling, but it's also due to the fact that, you know, we need the data to help us advance ourselves,
Right.
to have a better understanding of what we're trying to do. We want to do it right.
Because to this point, the documentary that I saw, that you just have that one location with that one set of data points, right?
If there's
Right.
anything that manifests in a way that we have had it recorded or felt it or understood it in some other way, we have to go chase every one of those routes now and try to find information to correlate with it.
Down the rabbit hole, man.
And you have to understand, you know, when you're applying science to your research, it's all trial and error.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when you're dealing with the fact that it's all about being right place, right time, because you can't command the ghost to interact with you.
Yeah.
You just hope they do.
Right. Right.
So it is a long process for us.
Yeah.
You
How do
know,
you get
if
your-
you want to do it right.
How do you choose your location? Is it
Well, for me, it has to have physical phenomena. I have to have witnesses there that tell me that they've been touched, because obviously that's what we're looking for, touch. We
Right.
want to have that interaction. And as you've learned by just watching our documentary, and as Chad has learned, you'll experience a lot more than just touch.
Right.
You know, there's all kinds of different things that'll happen during our investigations.
hearing.
Smell, you know, you got, visual things that'll
Yeah, you
happen.
saw some stuff in the prison, right?
Oh yeah, that was very strange and not something I was expecting either, because it's really dark in there. If you look at the Lux sensor, it's like 1-3, but there are things in there still, like exit signs that have to be there. And
Right.
so there's these reference points where you could see like there was something dark moving around and it was moving quick. I'm like, oh, I could see it there. Or
Right.
yeah.
So is it, your eyes are straining at that point, right? I mean, you're really trying to take in all the light you possibly can, but you're still seeing dark within dark moving around. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, because like I said, there is a minimal amount of light from exit signs.
Right.
And then it just,
Yeah.
something moves. But then, our minds do stuff like this too, though, right? Because one of my favorite experiments to watch people do is they shoot the green pattern into the room.
Yeah, I've seen that. The lasers.
Yeah, and
Right.
then they're like, oh, I see something over here. But if you've taken any of those visual tests where there's dots on your screen and you look at them and they're the right color, they start turning dark and moving around. And so some of the things that your mind can be easily tricked by like that, you have to, be a little skeptical about if you're going to take it in the field and do that.
Well, and then there's pareidolia, right? Where our minds will
Process
create a face
things,
out of
faces,
things.
yeah.
It's
And
a
same thing with
survival
audio
thing, right?
too. Same
Right.
thing with audio. We'll hear strange noises, and a lot of times we try to make sense of it.
Right.
So
Right. So you got to take all that into consideration. But what you
But-
guys are doing, you're getting more hard data to back that.
exactly.
Stuff.
So whether they think they may be having a paranormal experience, hopefully we'll have the data to validate that. So, like Chad says, we have to have 3 data points, and one of those data points could be the physical encounter. And if that data point is not there, then maybe we don't have anything, or maybe they didn't experience what was happening around them, you know? So it's a challenge. It really is.
Definitely. Well, no, and I'm assuming this is your life's work at this point, right?
For me, yes.
For you, it is. Yeah. And
I know
you got
this
this guy. This guy's jumped in and he's on board too. So that says something. I mean,
I don't get to spend as much time. I do a lot of other stuff too. And so, as we move along, Russ was like, hey, we have this location we're going to film. And then we went and filmed. We filmed a couple places now, possibly.
Yeah, we filmed a couple places.
And so, like, when I can go, I go. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sure when we do our big one, we're going to have to go somewhere. And then we'll go do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see the second one, man. The first one was pretty compelling, pretty amazing stuff. I'm excited to see the new innovations to the equipment and everything. I mean, you guys are doing something that no one else is doing out there. You know, I mean, I saw a YouTube video last night of some guys in what's the Stanley. Right. Okay, and they put the doorbell, the ding, for the front desk in the room with them. And dude, they're sitting there like, if you're here, ring the bell. Ding. Okay, ring it once for yes and 2 for no. Ding, ding. I'm like, come on, man. There's no way it's that easy to just go in there and put a doorbell
I wish it
in.
was. And that's the biggest problem we have now because of the popularity of ghost hunting is a lot of these tools that they're producing are being set up to manipulate the ghost hunters. Right. A lot of these apps that people are paying, to put on their phones are purposely putting in ghost voices.
You're gonna do an EMF reading with an EMF box in your hand.
Right. Yeah.
So I can throw away my Ouija board.
Yeah. Oh hell no! Don't mess with Ouija boards, man. That's bad. That's bad, bro.
It's and that's the downfall to this too, is because they're out there to manipulate these ghost hunters because people are making money off of it now.
Yeah. I mean, you get enough people watching you on YouTube. I mean, that's how it goes, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
you really do have to be careful with a lot of these devices that you're seeing on these shows where they think it's, the gold to ghost hunting. And a lot of them we're finding is not.
Right. Right. I got to ask, what is the most terrifying location, the most terrifying experience that you've had?
Well, I'd have to say St. Louis was one of my top stories that I do share a lot.
Well, you didn't get to go back though. I mean, that is very.
No, I have been back.
Oh, you did go back.
Oh, and it got even more interesting.
Okay.
So I was invited. Years go by, and I get invited back to do another lecture on ghost hunt, and we go back to the building. Now, I found out that within the years that I was gone, they did renovate the 4th floor.
Oh, really?
And so they decided to use it.
To stir shit up, right?
And that was the thing I was curious about. And I kind of was like, oh, now I got to try and figure out where that room was. Mm-hmm. So I'm going by memory to try, because I'm speaking with the student activities board, because they're the ones hiring me to come out and do my thing. Yeah. And I'm like, I'd love to find out where that room was. So at least we can find that space.
Right.
And so they're doing some research on their end, trying to figure out what's going on, where that room was. And come to find out, they never touched that room.
Oh, really?
It's completely boarded off from the rest of the 4th floor.
Oh, man.
So there's only one staircase that takes you up to that space. Mm. And so I was like, oh, I'm excited. This space has been untouched.
I'm excited.
I get to go back, So we do our thing. It wasn't as exciting. Again, right place, right time. So we didn't have that same experience.
Sure.
But now I had the opportunity to do my own investigation. So they were willing to say, yeah, after the public ghost hunt, you can do your thing.
Okay.
So I was up there doing my thing, and they let me leave my equipment up there overnight.
Okay.
And I could pick it up the next morning. So it was great, monitor this place throughout the night.
So you're doing audio, video?
Audio, video, everything.
Okay.
So I come back the next morning. I get my equipment and go home, review all my evidence. I get to that video, or actually the audio recording. The video camera ran out. So I didn't get the whole night. But what's interesting is in the recorder, it recorded the whole time. Mm-hmm. You can hear me set it up and then leave, and you hear me go down this creaky old staircase.
Yeah.
All right. And then there's silence. Then you start to hear what sounds like walking up there. Door opens. And then it's quiet for a while. Then, after a while, you hear what sounds like a train coming into the depot. That ch-ch, 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 and it's getting louder and louder. Okay. And then you hear what sounds like somebody pounding on the door, screaming, "Let me out, let me out, let me out." and it just fades away.
Really? That's crazy, man.
Then hours go by, and you hear me coming up the staircase, collecting my equipment, and leaving.
Wow.
See, that's why I fry catfish.
You never had that happen? That's wild, man. So when you take that stuff home and you're looking through it, I mean, I'll be honest. Sometimes when I'm watching a ghost show, right, if it's really got me, if I think it's real, I'm like, I'm going to read a little Bible passage before I go to bed tonight just to make sure nothing jumped through the TV and is in my house right now. I mean, does that kind of stuff scare you at all?
No. It just intrigues me. I want more.
I find it intriguing too. I just don't want it right here.
No, I just want more. I want more data.
What did you think about the Blair Witch Project? Since you said they changed the name from a boy to the girl.
Blair Witch.
Well, Blair Witch, well, that wasn't real.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You talking about The Exorcist?
No, there's a TV show, a movie or something. There.
Well, there was the Blair Witch Project, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I know you say they changed the name. It was a little boy, actually. Did you say it?
No. He was talking about The Exorcist.
Oh, he was talking about The Exorcist. Okay,
Exorcist.
I missed that. Okay,
yeah, the real case of The Exorcist was inspired by all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things that I'm just constantly wanting more information, and that's why I'm so grateful to have somebody like Chad to help us cross that line.
Well, Chad's badass, man. He went in there talking shit.
Yeah, Chad got your back.
I got what I gotta do, you know?
Chad got your back. He's naked and he's got your back and he got scratches.
Yeah. And he went back for more, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So do you think there's a difference between like ghost, demon, poltergeist? Like there's so many different entities out there, right?
See, and this is another big problem we have in the paranormal field is everybody wants to label everything and claim that they know everything.
Sure.
We don't.
Right.
We don't know
definitely
hardly anything.
Right.
We're still exploring a lot of this stuff.
But you would say with what you've experienced, you wouldn't say, well, this was definitely demonic or this was definitely.
And that's the thing is if you're trying to be scientific in your approach, you can't be biased. So you can't bring your religious beliefs into this. You have to go with what we know and not with what we think we know or what we want to know.
Fair enough. Yeah, makes sense.
It's one of those things that I do believe that there are negative energies out there.
Okay.
Chad can testify to that from his own experiences.
Sure.
There are things out there that will probably try to hurt you. But we've all learned, too, there are people out there that will try to hurt you.
Oh, sure.
That doesn't make them a demon.
Right. Right.
Who's to say that trait doesn't carry on after you pass away?
Yeah,
you could still be an asshole.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I just say, yes, there are negative things out there, and you do have to be careful. That's why when I go out and ghost hunt, I'm respectful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here to...
You got Chad to flip tables.
Yeah, exactly.
You want Chad to stay as he is, or you want him to be respectful?
I leave it up to him. I know he's got a goal. He wants the data.
Yeah.
So if he feels
right,
and I can understand that. I can understand if you need that data, that information to understand what it is you're experiencing. Chad is willing to take it to that level. Yeah. You know,
be an asshole.
He may regret it.
Hopefully, that won't be my ghost.
Well, you seem like a nice guy when you're not antagonizing the spirits, so that's good.
So
that's wild,
you know that's Chad's story, and I let him live out his story when it comes to us working together.
Now, would you advise against that for anybody listening to this?
If you don't know what the hell you're doing, yes.
Okay.
You know, if you're just curious and want to know what's out there, and if you want to go in and start being disrespectful and pissing something off, then don't be surprised if something follows you home.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
He said, yeah. Do you think you had something follow you? I mean, you had the one experience,
that
but then after the
experience.
Reiki, everything's been good.
Yeah, everything was good. And then after
good.
that night where I got scratched, I also was like, clear me again.
Okay.
So.
You got her on speed dial in case you need to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's actually done some other work, too. So.
Is she here in Washington as well?
No, she's down in Oregon.
Down in Oregon. Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. So if you guys had to pick a place here in Washington, most haunted, maybe you do a tour there, what would you say would be the place to see here in Washington
That's a tough
State?
one. I would love to have access to the Seattle Underground.
Like deeper in than you've been?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you've done the Underground, right?
I have done the Underground, and I've had some really interesting experiences. A lot of times, you have to say, again, I hate to repeat it all the time, right place, right time, but when you have access to a location more often, you have more opportunities to have those experiences.
Makes sense, yeah.
And I used to be a tour guide for the Seattle Underground Tour, so I was there as a tour guide and had more experiences. And I know that there are things in there, and I would love to continue the advancement that we have brought to ghost hunting to that location and see what we can pick up.
That'd be cool. Very cool. What do you think about, because they're still doing the ghost tours in the underground, aren't they?
No.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Oh, I thought they were.
They stopped a while, years ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it was before COVID, yeah.
You know, to be honest, that might have been when I was looking at it. My daughter, you know, she loves this stuff too, and she's like, we should do a tour, and I think I saw the underground, but that may have been before COVID when I saw that. So they're not doing that anymore. But when they were doing that, were you the one running it? Or was that?
I'm, you know, when I talk about, you know, Bill Spidell's Seattle Underground tours, you know, is a place because they have access to different sections of the underground.
Okay.
I had different other sections of the underground when I was doing my underground tours.
Gotcha.
When we had our location in Seattle, which unfortunately we lost due to COVID.
Yeah.
So that, you know, I had done some, you know, naked experiments there.
Oh,
but
really?
I wanted to continue on to different sections because, you know, different areas have different experiences.
When you take a tour, you know, when you take a group of people on that tour, is it just screwing around? I mean, do you have to have this serious mindset to get responses, or is it right place, right time? Because I feel like if I went on one of those tours, it'd just be a bunch of people like, you know, screwing off. And
you get some of those people that, you know, won't take it serious, or just, you know, or just in it for the thrills of ghost hunting. And then you have those that are very serious about it.
Right.
So you can have activity during different types of, you know, investigations. You know, if you're going to be goofing off, you know, I've seen, you know, teams will go in there, goof off, and they'll get some EVPs. Like there was this one group that were trespassing into a cemetery. They weren't supposed to be there after dark, and they're goofing off and stuff. And the next thing they know, they see, you know, the police car coming up with their lights on, and in their recorder, they captured a ghost saying, "Busted."
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
they're just hanging back watching, and be like, "That's what you get."
Yeah, that's what you get. You know?
So I went through your YouTube and I was checking stuff out. I gotta ask, the screaming EVP.
Oh my God, yeah,
dude, that was terrifying.
Yeah, that's been featured on Nuke's Top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody watches that show. It was actually featured as one of the best of the year at that time, too.
That was, so what it is, Hamp, because I'm sure you didn't see it.
I'm positive I didn't see it.
There's a woman that, and correct me if I'm wrong, she continues to get this EVP recording of someone just, screaming, like a guttural scream. And the video that I saw, she's asking it like, talk to me, tell me what you want, like I want to help you. I can't do anything. All you do is scream. Like she has this little mini conversation, plays it back, and it's just this scream, dude. That is just.
Where is she when she get these?
I don't know.
So what happened was, she was one of my members who went on a public ghost hunt at Rolling Hills. It's an old asylum in New York, I believe. And she came back from that public event. And every time she would go on a ghost hunt with us and do any EVP recordings, she would get this response of this scream.
Yeah, and it is a scream.
Yeah, and so I decided I'm going to run an experiment. I just want to validate this, and you know, I've always been more scientific in my approach. So I had her sit down with the recorder, open palm, you know, so that we can show that she's not manipulating the recorder at all. So we've got multiple cameras on her.
Right.
So we're showing her doing the experiment. We're all there as witnesses, recording everything that's going on. And so she records it. And this might be interesting for Chad himself. I don't know if you've ever seen this video.
I don't think I have.
Yeah. So we record everything, and she plays it back. And when she plays it back, sure enough, she got the scream.
Yeah.
Now, what was interesting, because a lot of people ask me, well, why didn't the cameras pick up the scream as well? Why was it only on the recorder? So that's something to think about. So that was one of the things that was interesting about that. But what it is, you know, she felt, you know, she's always been, you know, very caring for the environment and who's ever haunting the location. So I think when she was at Rolling Hills, she was very open. That was the thing. She opened herself up and was very friendly and accepting, you know, let me help you. And obviously something wanted help and followed her. And so every time she was doing these recordings, she'd get the screaming. And here's where I try not to run, oh my God, it's a demon. It's, something out to harm you. Nothing bad ever happened to her. It was only the screaming on the recording was all she ever experienced.
Sure.
But I think what it was is that was the only way it could communicate. It didn't know how to talk, or maybe that's the only way it had to force something out to get your attention, and it came out as a scream. Because even if you listen to that recording towards the end, it's trying to say something. There's like this gargling at the end where like maybe words are trying to come out. Yeah. But it can never get any words out. And we found that, when she just started communicating with more, and it's almost, if you are dealing with something intelligent, I feel it's almost like you have to have a counseling session with whatever it is. And help it to move on.
Well, it does make me think of, like you said, like the Sixth Sense, where that the boy saw, the ghosts and had to help them move on. And that's kind of what I thought of when she was getting those recordings, because that's what she was telling it, right? She was like asking it questions like, I want to help you, but all you're doing is screaming and I can't understand. That's terrifying, man.
I like the TV show Ghost Whisperer.
Ghost Whisperer. So something like that, and maybe this is a question for you, like you had said. If she's like, I don't know, at her kid's soccer game, right? And she's filming with her phone and they're watching the soccer game, a scream never pops up like on her phone or anything like that. It's just during like an EVP session with that digital recorder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it's something like a interference pattern, then it could have to do with so many different things in the electronics itself. How well it's shielded, what kind of microphone it is, if they're big enough ground plane on the electronics so there's no feedback looping or something that could, in the sound side of it, audio equipment will buzz.
Sure.
So I think it probably has something to do with that, because there's one recorder that's pretty successful over other ones of picking up. And so it's got to be something in how that's made.
That it's able to get through on that recorder specifically.
Yeah, that some interference pattern can get through it, because here's another good example for this. If you set up a long microphone cable somewhere and it's not shielded or grounded correctly, you're going to pick up AM or some radio station that's local, depending on the length and all that stuff.
Right.
And so those kind of things seem to play into a similar role with this. And so the research really has to come down to what equipments have the best hit. What is it about that piece of equipment that could get a hit for EVP? And then if that has anything to do with the grounding plane or shielding or the type of microphone, piezoelectrics probably have a better chance of picking this up.
I wonder if you put a microphone in a Faraday cage.
We talked about doing all kinds of experiments in vacuums and Faraday cages.
Yes.
You know what a Faraday cage is?
Don't have a clue.
All right. What temp you fry your catfish at?
350 degrees.
All right, there we go. No, I love this kind of stuff, man. I could talk to you guys for hours. I think we should do this again, though, for sure. I think that when you guys get part 2, if you want to, hit me up. We can maybe do it after it's released or before, whatever you want to do, or anything you guys want to push. Let me know. I enjoy this kind of stuff.
We should take you ghost hunting.
Yeah, we got to take you out.
I told you, go, man. Go, and then you come back and tell me.
I'll tell you what, I'll go, but I'm keeping my clothes on. I don't think you want to see me naked anyway. So.
I will say,
it's not whether we want to see you naked; it's the ghost.
Right.
I will say though that I'm really impressed with how much background work you did before this interview. Sometimes
thanks.
we walk into interviews and people are just like asking us questions, and we just take the interview over and like do it for them.
Oh no, he digs with a golden spade.
You've done the most work, and that was
thank you.
It's a great interview.
I try to do a little bit, I guess maybe more than some, but I also was explaining to Ross earlier, I don't like to have like a set of questions. Like I like to just have a good conversation. I need to know about you guys a little bit to have that conversation, but other than that, I like this. I like what happens organically. So I appreciate that though. Thank you.
You guys are the real deal. So if you guys are listening to this here, see these 2 guys in front of me? Talk to them, okay? Stay out for YouTube.
For sure.
So after listening to us, we opened your mind a little bit. What's your...
After listening to you guys, I've learned a lot. I try to learn something new every day. And
Chad.
Yeah. After Chad,
You learned everything but your name.
Just call him the naked guy.
Okay, the naked guy. Yeah, after the naked guy getting scratched and running, and then you got some guy that got lipstick on and he's running out of there. Got a little something going on somewhere. So I would have to lean toward a little bit about believing that. Just at the same time with my grandfather as well. And my incident with the car and all that. So if I tie all that in together, I would say I definitely have to,
I think there's something going on.
There's something going on. And I've learned a lot, so this was a good experience for me, to sit up here and listen to this. So,
and that's all we're trying to do. We don't have enough information to say, yes, it's ghosts.
Right.
What we experienced was definitely ghosts. We don't have that information. We can't say that.
Right.
All we're trying to do is get the data out there to you guys and say, there's something to this.
Right.
What is it? We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But we are having these experiences, and me and Chad want to know more.
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm grateful that he has that curiosity with me that wants to learn, a little more about this.
That's the stuff that intrigues me too. I mean, I enjoy all this stuff, the paranormal in many different ways. Hamp knows, but we stop at ghosts, right? A lot of people stop at ghosts. And I think there's good reason for that. I think people have a feeling, or maybe they even see a loved one or, something like that, right? But what if it's beyond that even? I could even get into interdimensional, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And those theories are out there.
Right.
Simulation theory is pretty interesting
theory,
because when I think about
simulation theory.
when I
That's
think
a wild
about
one.
this, there's the imprints. I'm going to off-road for a moment and then I'll come
Go
back.
for it. I like this stuff.
There's
Hamp's going to learn some more. Hang on,
let
buddy.
me get my pencil.
Yeah.
Hold on. Go ahead.
We may lose this guy now, just so you know.
Hang on, Hamp. You got a seatbelt over there?
I got to see you now. Welcome aboard. Let's
It's
go.
actually very logical stuff. So here it is. So if you think of it from the simulation theory standpoint, so you have imprints in spaces that have happened.
Right.
You have certain spaces that have more likeliness to have hauntings or paranormal activity.
Right.
Now, if you were to think about this as a simulation theory, there's still, in the time that this person has died, we still remember stories about this person. That's where that stories come from. So if you were to die, you're not deleted from the database because people still remember you and they bring back the thought of what are the things that you do or talk about and remember it. And because of that, an imprint could happen in that space. The probable cause of it, I don't know, but
Right.
it's probably not zero.
Right.
If you're sitting in the database, because remembering that you don't bleed over or something grabs it.
Well, and that could almost be like Tulpa, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Tulpa. What was it, the Ryan experiment?
Yes, where a group of people came together and they created a ghost. They
Right.
gave it an identity, what it looked like, and they all focused and concentrated on this individual that didn't exist.
Right.
And they claimed that they were having paranormal experiences, and it identified itself as this being that they wanted it to be.
Right.
So, but then there's also, psychic projection too, it's one of the things that there's so much to this.
There is a lot. There's a lot.
And I think right now, just by collecting the data that we're getting, we're just kind of, as we say, just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
This is just a small portion of a bigger picture that we're trying to complete here.
Yeah. Well, and when I saw what you guys have put together for Parascience, I mean, I had watched, some of your stuff, and then I went and watched the actual full-length documentary. When you brought Chad in, I'm like, okay, now I'm really interested. Not that I didn't trust you before. I definitely trust you a lot more now that I've actually spoken to you, but we'd never met. And when you brought him in, and he was the skeptic and he was the scientist, and he was like, we're either going to figure something out or we're going to call bullshit on all of it. I'm like, okay, now we're cooking with something here, So
Right.
I thought that was great. I thought that was really
He has your back.
Well, guys, we could keep going forever, but I think we did pretty good here. What do you guys want to push out? What do you want everyone to know right now? Where can they find you? What you got going on?
I would definitely, check out Parasense.
Yeah.
It is on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Google
Well
TV,
worth it. Well worth
out
it.
there. So definitely check that out. And leave a review. Reviews really do help it out and
I will do
push
that.
it up forward. Yeah, definitely appreciate that. And again, if you want to learn more about me, I always encourage people follow me on Facebook. I do live video feeds from haunted places that I visit, and also my books. You can find my books on Amazon as well.
Okay, awesome. I did see you wrote some books. I'm going to check those out. I have not yet, but I will.
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
I'm kind of off the grid. I'm not on social media anymore.
Fair, dude. Fair.
You can find me on LinkedIn somewhere if you look around.
There you go.
That's about it.
Might find you in a couple of videos though.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. Hamp, you got any more questions, man?
No, you guys covered a whole bunch of stuff I didn't know about. So, and I just say, hey, data has been around a long time. Doesn't matter what kind of data, but the word data has been around a long time. And you guys are collecting data that nobody else could probably collect from what I'm telling right now, besides making it up.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's
Changing the game. Changing the game.
Yeah.
So.
So
Well, definitely check out Parascience. You're gonna watch it now.
I'll lay in bed. I got a nice
You
big
get to see me
iPad.
naked.
A scratch too.
You get naked, you can feel like you're in it. Feel like you're part of the experiment.
My wife be like, "What are you doing? Hold on, I got to take my clothes off. I'm going in a little deep."
There was one, the what was it, the Puppet Master one, where you had the strings tied to the nipples and everything. I think you should try that one out.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yep.
All right, guys, thanks. Make sure you check out all their stuff. And like Ross said, leave a comment for us as well. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch up with you guys again, man. We're going to do
Ross
this.
and Chad,
and I'll
it's
tell
been
you
a
what.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll tell
you
you
so
what.
much for having us.
If I do go on a ghost hunt, or if we go on a ghost hunt, we're going to get some footage too. We're going to put that out there.
Personal
So.
pronoun. I ain't going to go.
Yeah, I don't believe, but I'm not going. All right, thanks, guys. Stay on the podcast.
Okay.
Yep.
Joe and Hampton, lights dim, it's game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line. Stick lounge, stories unfold, real and raw. From hustlers to dreamers, breaking laws with a claw. Microphone warriors, capturing life's conflicts. Sitting across legends, tales flick like black pics. Drop bars, not mics, knowledge, it rains. From the streets to the beats in every vein. Stick lounge podcast, tales heavy with the weight. Real lives, gritty stories, never fake. Joe and Hampton, digging deep, no facade, untold narratives. Every episode a new fraud.